earthquakes along the mountains on the earth, and it appeared that there were fire everywhere. Many inauspicious planets like Saturn appeared, along with comets, meteors, and thunderbolts. There were blue winds, which were most inviting to the touch, hissing again and again and uprooting gigantic trees. They had storms for their armies and clouds of dust for ensigns. The Santa Ana winds. You guys ever heard of this? Down in California? Everybody knows these are bad news winds. So it describes here the blue winds, which are most inviting to the touch, hissing again and again. So in different parts of the world, there's also these kind of winds that blow. In the Middle East, like in Saudi Arabia and those places, there's also these kinds of winds. And these places are basically very pious, but when these winds blow, it's even worse. So this is the kind of thing that's happening when these demons were born. The luminaries in the heavens were screened by masses of clouds, in which lightning sometimes flashed as though laughing. Darkness reigned everywhere, and nothing could be seen. Man, imagine being in the universe at this time. The ocean with its high waves wailed aloud as if stricken with sorrow, and there was a commotion among the creatures inhabiting the ocean. The rivers and lakes were also agitated, and lotuses withered. Misty halos appeared around the sun and the moon during solar and lunar eclipses again and again. Claps of thunder were heard, even without clouds. The sounds, like those of rattling chariots, emerged from the mountain caves. In the interior of the villages, she-jackals yelled portentously, vomiting and strong fire from their mouths, and jackals and owls also joined them with their cries. By my place, when Mount St. Helens erupted this last time, there was a huge thing going on, and the coyotes were howling out in the forest. And this was like around 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and they never do this during the day. And it was the exact same time. It was like when I heard them howling, I was wondering, why are these things barking? It sounded like they were in pain. And there's a whole pack of them that lived out in the woods near my house. So I heard these coyotes howling. And the farmer across the street also told me his cows were really agitated when Mount St. Helens erupted. And another farmer told him the same thing. So these things are not just some myth. Omens, these are omens, and these things happen for reasons, because something's happening. So this is what was going on. These two demons appeared. Raising their necks, dogs cried here and there, now in the manner of singing and now of wailing. Over the asses ran hither and thither in herds, striking the herds with their hard hoofs and wildly braying. Cows, terrified, yielded blood in place of milk. Clouds rained pus, and images of the gods in the temple shed tears, and trees fell down without a blast of wind. Marking these and many other moments of evil times, everyone but the four sages, sons of Brahma, four Kumars, who were aware of the fall of Janmejaya and of their birth as demon sons, was seized with fear. Everybody, the entire universe was terrified. This all happened at once. It was all over the universe this was going on. They did not know the secrets of these potents and thought that the dissolution of the universe was at hand. These two demons who appeared in ancient times soon began to exhibit uncommon bodily features. They had steel-like frames which began to grow just like two great mountains. Their bodies became so tall that they seemed to kiss the sky with the crest of their gold crowns. They blocked the view of all directions, and while walking shook the earth at every step. Their arms were adorned with brilliant bracelets, and they stood as if covering the sun with their waist, which was bound with excellent, beautiful girls. It sounds like these guys on SmackDown. This is what they do. This is what I take to shake the earth when they move. Kashyapa, Prajapati, the creator of living entities, gave his twin sons their names. The one who was born first he named Hiranyaksha, and the one who was first conceived by Deity he named Hiranyakasipu. The elder child, Hiranyakasipu, was unafraid of death from anyone within the three worlds because he received a benediction from Lord Brahma. He was proud and puffed up due to this benediction and was able to bring all the three planetary systems under his control. His younger brother, Hiranyaksha, was always ready to satisfy his elder brother by his activities. Hiranyaksha took a club on his shoulder and traveled all over the universe with a fighting spirit just to satisfy Hiranyakasipu. So these two characters, now they're meandering around the universe. And they're brothers, so you can see what happened when these two characters went about the universe. There was terror, fear everywhere, just the opposite when Krishna Balaram, also brothers, when they appeared. There was peace everywhere. All the signs and planets lined up, everything was auspicious. It says here, this is describing their characters, his mental bodily strength as well as the boon conferred upon him had made him proud. He feared death at the hands of no one, and there was no checking him. The gods therefore were seized with fear at his very sight, and they hid themselves, even as snakes hide themselves for fear of Garuda. On not finding Indra and the other demigods who had previously been intoxicated with power, the chief of the Daityas, seeing that they had all vanished before his might, roared loudly. After returning from the heavenly kingdom, the mighty demon, who was like an elephant in wrath for the sake of sport, dived into the deep ocean, which was roaring terribly. On his entering the ocean, the aquatic animals who formed the host of Varuna were stricken with fear and ran far away. Thus Hiranyaksha showed his splendor without dealing a blow. Moving about in the ocean for many, many years, the mighty Hiranyaksha smote the gigantic Liptos waves again and again with his iron mace and reached Vibhavari, the capital of Varuna. Vibhavari is the home of Varuna, lord of the aquatic creatures and guardian of the lower regions of the universe, where the demons generally reside. There Hiranyaksha fell at Varuna's feet like a lowborn man and made fun of him. He said with a smile, "Give me battle, O Supreme Lord. You are the guardian of an entire sphere and the ruler of wide fame. Having crushed the might of arrogant, conceited warriors, and having conquered all the deities and Danavas in the world, you once performed the Rajasuya sacrifice to the Lord. Thus, mocked by an enemy whose vanity knew no bounds, the worshipful Lord of the waters waxed angry. But by dint of his reason, he managed to curb the anger that had sprung up in him. And he replied, O dear one, we have now desisted from warfare, having grown too old for combat. You are so skilled in war that I do not see anyone else but the most ancient person, Lord Vishnu, who can give satisfaction in battle to you. Therefore, O chief of the Asuras, approach him, whom even heroes like you mention in praise. Varuna continued, on reaching him, you will be rid of your pride at once, and you will lie down on the field of battle, surrounded with dogs for eternal sleep. And in order to exterminate wicked fellows like you and to show his grace to the virtuous, he assumes his role to his various incarnations of Varaha. When I read this, I was thinking this is actually a prediction, because Varaha had actually appeared yet. So Varuna was actually predicting the appearance of Varaha by what he just said here. So then this next chapter goes into detail about the actual fight when these two personalities met. So when they met, so this is what was happening here was the Earth was at the end of Brahma's day. I'm not exactly sure about how the sequences work, but I know this, that when Brahma goes to sleep at the end of his day, all the planets from, you got the lower, middle, and the